Breaking news out of Washington, and this one's big. Social Security just became political, and millions of seniors across America are about to feel it, in their wallets. Just hours ago, former President Donald Trump signed a sweeping executive order that's already sending shockwaves through the financial and political world. It's being called the Senior Protection and Benefit Expansion Order, and depending on your situation, it could mean hundreds, even thousands, of extra dollars in your Social Security payments every single year. Now here's the catch. This move is not coming from Congress. It's coming straight from the Oval Office, and that means it's happening fast. Within weeks, the Social Security Administration could start adjusting benefit amounts, and that has every retiree, every near retiree, and every working American asking one question: what does this really mean for me? Listen carefully, because this isn't just another political headline. This could change how you budget, how you plan your retirement, and how you think about Social Security forever. And what happens next will surprise you. We're breaking it all down: what's in Trump's order, why it's happening now, and how seniors became the biggest winners in one of the most politically charged moves in recent history. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's changing, when it's happening, and how to make sure you get every dollar you deserve. Let's start with what actually happened. On Friday morning, President Trump signed what's officially being called the Senior Protection and Benefit Expansion Order, a 14-page directive aimed at increasing monthly Social Security payments and freezing Medicare premium hikes through the end of 2026. The order directs the Social Security Administration, along with the Treasury Department, to implement an emergency 8.2% cost of living adjustment, on top of the standard cost of living adjustment that was already approved earlier this year. In simple terms, it's an extra raise for retirees. An immediate across-the-board boost meant to counter what Trump called the inflation tax on America's seniors. Standing beside him at the signing were SSA Commissioner Martin O'Neill, Treasury Secretary Janet Haynes, and several Republican lawmakers from key swing states, including Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. Trump said, quote, "Our seniors built this nation, and they deserve protection from the inflation disaster created by Washington's broken system." Within hours, reactions started pouring in. Democratic leaders called the move a political stunt before the 2025 election, arguing that the president overstepped executive power by ordering changes to Social Security payments without full congressional approval. Republicans, on the other hand, praised it as bold leadership, saying the White House acted while Congress kept arguing. Economists are calling it one of the most aggressive Social Security interventions in modern history. Why? Because it bypasses the usual legislative process, using emergency powers tied to the ongoing cost of living crisis declared last year. That means the order can take effect within 60 days of signing, unless blocked in court, and yes, lawsuits are already being discussed behind closed doors. But here's where things get even more interesting. This order doesn't just raise benefits, it rewrites how the COLA formula can be calculated in the future. For decades, Social Security adjustments were tied to the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners. Trump's new directive tells the SSA to temporarily use the Senior Spending Index, a measure that weighs healthcare, energy, and grocery costs more heavily, categories that have soared since 2021. In other words, for the first time, the inflation seniors actually feel will determine the boost they get. That could mean permanent changes to how benefits are calculated long after this order expires. Now, why does this matter so much? Because more than 71 million Americans rely on Social Security benefits every month. Nearly half of all retirees say those checks make up at least 90% of their income. So when the rules around those payments shift, even by a few percentage points, The ripple effect hits every corner of the economy. Financial advisors are already warning clients to watch their statements closely, because this could affect Medicare premiums, tax brackets, and even state benefit programs that use Social Security income to determine eligibility. In short, this isn't just a headline. It's a seismic policy shift that could put real money back in seniors' pockets. But it also sets off a political storm in Washington. And as we've seen before, when Social Security becomes political, things get messy fast. Now, before you get too excited about those bigger checks, there's a twist, and it's buried deep in the fine print of this order. Because while the headline is all about bigger benefits, the real question is, who's going to pay for it? And that's where the next part of our story begins. Now let's talk about what this means for you, because this isn't just a political move in Washington. This is about your wallet, your monthly check, and your future. Here's what's being reported by the Social Security Administration as of this morning. Under the new order, anyone currently receiving retirement, survivor, or disability benefits will be eligible for the 8.2% emergency boost. That increase would apply retroactively to January of this year, meaning you could see a one-time catch-up payment in the coming months. So, let's make that real. If you're receiving $1,850 per month right now, that 8.2% raise adds roughly $151. That's about $2,000 more per year before taxes. For those with higher benefits, say around $2,500 monthly, your increase could be closer to $205 extra per month. And for millions of Americans living on fixed incomes, that kind of difference is life-changing. We're talking groceries, prescription refills, utility bills, things that have all gone up dramatically in the last 3 years. But before you celebrate, here's where things get complicated. The same order that boosts benefits also temporarily redirects a small percentage of payroll tax revenue, the very funds that keep Social Security solvent. The Treasury Department says the adjustment is budget neutral for now, but independent analysts aren't so sure. They're warning that, unless Congress backfills the trust fund later this year, the move could shorten the program's solvency window by nearly 18 months. That's the trade-off. Seniors get more money immediately, but the trust fund faces more pressure in the long run. Economist Daniel Rizzo from the American Policy Institute put it this way: "This is a short-term win for seniors and a long-term question mark for Social Security's future. The math doesn't lie. Someone has to pay for it eventually." Meanwhile, the political fallout is massive. Democrats are calling for hearings, warning that this executive action could politicize Social Security like never before. Republicans are cheering it as proof that Trump delivers where Congress drags its feet. And the White House isn't backing down. They're betting that seniors, the single largest voting bloc in America, will remember who signed the checks when election season hits. Now, if you're still working and paying into the system, you might be wondering, does this affect me too? The answer is yes, indirectly. Because if the new formula sticks, using the Senior Spending Index instead of the traditional CPI, it could change how your future benefits grow, meaning when you retire, your starting benefit could be higher than it would have been under the old calculation. That's good news for future retirees. But again, it depends on whether Congress makes the change permanent or lets it expire after 2026. And here's the truth. Right now, nobody knows which way it'll go. This order is set to roll out in phases. The SSA will issue official adjustment letters by February 10th, with payments reflecting the new rate starting March 1st. If you've opted for direct deposit, your statement will show the increase automatically. Paper check recipients may see a slight delay, depending on where they live. Now, if you're thinking, this all sounds too good to be true, you're not alone. Financial experts are urging caution. Some say it's a genuine lifeline for seniors hit hard by inflation. Others say it's a strategic political move designed to grab headlines and voter loyalty ahead of the 2025 campaign cycle. But here's something everyone agrees on. Seniors have just become the most powerful group in American politics. Why? Because both parties now know the math. There are over 50 million active voters over the age of 60, and they turn out more than any other demographic. That means every policy, every speech, every debate from here on out will have one audience in mind: retirees. So what does that mean for you right now? It means you have leverage. Your voice, your vote, and your Social Security account are more valuable than ever before. But here's the kicker: there's still a catch. Because while the order promises no one will lose benefits, it quietly allows for a temporary payroll stabilization period, code for possible small changes in paycheck withholding if you're still working. In other words, a few extra dollars might come out of each paycheck for younger workers to help fund the boost. That's what critics are calling a backdoor payroll tax. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to the fine print, not just the headlines, because when Washington says temporary, we all know how often that word stretches into years. Now let's talk about what you can actually do, the specific steps to make sure you're getting what's yours, avoiding delays, and staying ahead of any upcoming changes. Because if there's one thing history tells us, it's that Social Security updates move fast, and those who act first get the most benefit. Now that you know what's happening, let's talk about what you need to do, because this new order is moving fast and timing matters. First, go to ssa.gov. That's the official Social Security website. Log in or create YR My Social Security account. Once you're in, check your benefit statement. If the new order applies to you, you'll see a pending adjustment notice within the next few weeks. Don't wait for the mail. Digital notifications will arrive first, so checking online is the fastest way to confirm your eligibility. Second, mark your calendar. The SSA says official letters will be mailed by February 10th, and the first round of boosted payments will begin on March 1st. If you're on direct deposit, the change will appear automatically. If you receive paper checks, give it a few extra days. Third, if you have questions, call the Social Security Administration directly at 1-800-77-21213. Yes, the wait times are long, but once this order fully kicks in, those phone lines are going to be flooded. It's better to call early, verify your account, and make sure your mailing address and deposit information are up to date. Fourth, if you're still working, check your pay stub. Because that temporary payroll stabilization mentioned earlier may begin showing up as small adjustments in your withholding. We're talking a few dollars each check for now, but knowing it's there helps you plan ahead. Fifth, stay alert for scams. Whenever big federal changes like this happen, fake callers and fake letters start circulating. Remember, the Social Security Administration will never ask for your banking information over the phone. If you get a suspicious message, hang up and report it directly to oig.ssa.gov. Now here's something most people don't realize. This order also directs the Treasury Department to create a senior verification hotline, a temporary call center to answer questions about the emergency adjustment. Those lines are expected to go live by February 1st. We'll keep you updated as soon as the number is officially released. And don't forget, if you're helping an elderly family member manage their benefits, this is the time to step in. Make sure their accounts are active, their addresses are current, and they understand what these new payments mean. A missed letter or outdated account could delay their adjustment. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This move isn't just about bigger checks, it's about power. Social Security has always been one of the most trusted, least political programs in America. But this order just changed that. And no matter which side of the political aisle you're on, it proves one thing. Seniors now hold the most influential voice in the nation's economic future. The next few months are going to be critical. Congress will debate whether to make this boost permanent or reverse it after the election. You can bet it'll be a top issue in every campaign, every debate, and every budget hearing. So stay informed, pay attention, and don't let anyone else decide your financial future for you. Because here's the truth. When Washington moves fast, the people who pay attention move first. And in moments like this, information isn't just power, it's profit. So take this as your call to action. Go online tonight, check your SSA account, verify your benefits, talk to your family, and most importantly, share this information. Let's make sure every retiree, every veteran, every worker nearing retirement knows what's happening and what they stand to gain. The bottom line, seniors are finally getting a win. Whether it's politics or policy driving it, the outcome is real. More money in your pocket, more breathing room each month, and a sense that maybe, just maybe, Washington remembered who built this country. So stay alert, stay prepared, and stay hopeful. This story is still unfolding, and we'll be here every step of the way to break it down for you. Subscribe, stay informed, and keep your money working for you. Because when you understand the news, you control your future